Director of Athletics, Josh Whitman, and we'll go ahead and proceed with our signees.
Not often I have to move the microphone down, except after I follow Kent at the podium. First of all, I just want to obviously thank everybody. Welcome so many great Illini fans. It's great to have people with us for this very important day and a very bright future for Illinois basketball. It's wonderful to see so many fans with us today. As I talked to Coach Underwood and started relaying the interest and the enthusiasm around Illinois basketball, a big part of that was all of you. It was the tremendous support and the enthusiasm that exists for our basketball program, not just in our community, but across our state and really all across the United States. And so I'm very grateful to our fans, to our alums, to our donors. This is a great step forward for our program, and it is just the first step. And certainly we're excited to visit with so many of our Illini Nation and encourage them to take these steps with us and be a part of this incredible basketball tradition, this incredible redevelopment process with the Illini basketball family. A couple words about our process. Men's basketball searches are unbelievably intense, challenging for a few reasons. One, the condensed timeline. Two, the incredible public scrutiny, the interest around the position. And then third, the amount of what I would call patently false information that finds its way out into the universe. And so it makes it very difficult to try and navigate the process and do so in a way that allows us to reach a prompt and strong conclusion on behalf of our program. Although we didn't use a search term, I certainly didn't go through this by myself. There are a number of people I'd like to thank by name. It certainly starts with my wife Hope, our daughter Tate. As you can imagine, it's been a pretty intense few days around our household here recently. And even when I've been home, my mind has been elsewhere. I've been on the phone, so I'm grateful to her for her support during a very difficult and challenging timeline. But she's been unbelievable, as she has been, and with everything else that we've encountered since we came here just over a year ago. Also want to thank Chancellor Jones, who has continued to be an unbelievable advocate on behalf of our athletic program, a wonderful counselor, a great sounding board, has become a good friend, and look forward to working with him, grateful to him for his support. President Illini as well. You don't make these kinds of changes, you don't advance the program the way that we are today without very strong, what I call institutional alignment, where people understand and embrace the vision that's put forth, in this case by the athletic director, where the chancellor, the president, and ultimately our board of trustees doesn't buy into that vision. Ours does. And we've had at different points in time over our history, and all of us who have been around the university for a number of years know that there have been points in time where that hasn't existed. So that we need to be grateful for it when we have it, and we have it right now. Chancellor Jones, President Illini, our board of trustees, they all understand the value of a strong intercollegiate athletic program here at the University of Illinois. They all understand what strong athletics does for the brand and the reputation of our university, for the environment here in our community, Champaign, and ultimately for our entire state. So I can't thank them enough for their support, for the trust. We are taking an unbelievable step with Illinois athletics today in large part because of their support and because of their trust. That alignment was never on more display than our use of search waiver to facilitate this process, which was certainly something that we knew could become a possibility. We didn't know if it would become necessary. Last week things started to happen in a hurry. Once you saw the job in Indiana come open, once you saw the job in Cal come open, once you saw the job in Washington come open, we recognized that coaches started to get eliminated from the tournament, became available, hirings started to be made. We recognized that if we wait until midnight tonight, we would be putting ourselves at a competitive disadvantage. So you saw that institutional alignment again show itself to understand that we needed to use a process to search waiver to go out and get our coaches in a timely way. And I can't thank again our university for the support of that necessity. number of people on our staff, like Warren Hood, Paul Kowalczyk, and many other staff members have all been involved in this process at different points in time, and can't thank them enough. We had a successful process here, I think, for three primary reasons. Number one is it was comprehensive. Number two, it was confidential. And number three, it was fast. And in the men's basketball environment, those three things are absolutely crucial in navigating a successful search process. Talk a little bit about the process in particular. Start with the list. And that list, as most of you would guess, is probably not a lot different than some of the lists that anybody would come up with. It's not hard to think of who the candidates for a job like this one should probably be. The next step, though, is much more difficult, and it's the vetting. There's a lot of vetting that goes into all those names that get put on that list, and that vetting occurs in a number of different ways. It happens through a lot of reading. It's amazing how successful and helpful the internet can be when you're doing a search like this. All the information that's out there about different coaches, different candidates. You watch a lot of video, press conferences, when they're mic'd up at practice, how they interact with media and fans. You watch game film. You talk to people within the industry. You talk to other athletic directors. You talk to conference officials. You talk to people at the NCAA. In our case, we're very fortunate to have two incredibly plugged-in basketball alumni, Jared Colangelo and Jackson, visited with both of them as well. Ultimately, you start talking to agents, have conversations with candidates, and you start to narrow down your list. Now let's talk about Brad Underwood. As we got into our process, Brad Underwood's name was at the top of that list and has been from the first day. Now, what happened is we kind of just talking around him for a while because we just didn't think that we had a chance to get him, to be very frank about it. We weren't so sure that there was an opportunity for us to attract Brad to come to our university. And so we worked around that for a time, and ultimately somebody said, why don't we find out if there's an interest? So last Wednesday, for the first time, we picked up the phone and we called Brad's representative. Had a discussion with him, and we were thrilled to learn that the University of Illinois has long been a destination location for Coach Underwood. And I'll let him explain why that is, but certainly as someone who has spent as much time here as I have and cares as much about this place as I do, as we embarked on this process, it was important to me to find somebody who cares as much about this place as I do, who understands what a special opportunity it is to be the head basketball coach at the University of Illinois, who understands our tradition, who knows what this place can be when it's full, and it's orange, and it's loud, and it's intimidating. And so when I heard that there was that interest for Brad Underwood, from that point it was all about Brad Underwood. What do we need to do to try and put a process in place to bring him here as our next basketball coach? So that led to one call, another. I never had any direct conversations with Brad, text, by phone, in person, until Saturday morning. And that was the first time he and I ever had a chance to visit with each other. And needless to say, we hit it off. Have a lot of shared values, shared expectations, shared dreams about what this basketball program can and should look like, compete like, and how it will represent not just the athletic program, but all of our great fans and our great Illini nation. The things have happened quickly since then, needless to say. Let me tell you what I love about Brad Underwood. It's a long list. First of all, I love that he's a winner. He's a proven winner. And we tell people that the best predictor of future success is past performance. You look at what his teams have done, and it is nothing short of remarkable. Set records in terms of their on-court performance. He's someone who develops players, he develops programs. You look at the programs that he's come into, how they performed before he arrived, and how they performed after. It is remarkably different. Remarkably different. And that's not a coincidence. I talked at length since I came on board here 13 months ago that University of Illinois, Fighting Illini athletes, we need to hone in on our identity. there's no question that Brad Underwood's teams are strong. It's built on toughness, it's built on intensity, there's tenacity to the way his teams play that resonates very strong with me, and I think will resonate very strong with our fans. I'm excited about seeing those teams take the forward. It bleeds into their style of play. They've been fast, aggressive, they get your face on defense, they get shot up. It was fun to think about Brad Underwood teams being out here in the state parks in the cold, watching the way they get up and down the floor, watching the way they compete, watching the emotion, the excitement, and the enthusiasm about wearing the orange and blue. Brad's someone with highest integrity, someone who has no interest in breaking the rules or running afoul of the ways in which we expect our coaches and our programs to operate. I've always said we have every intention of winning Big Ten and national championships here at the University of Illinois. When that happens, we never want there to be any question of the means by which those championships were attained. We never have to worry about that. Brad Underwood is a teacher. He's someone who stresses relationships with his players, with his staff, with our fans, our community. He's a relationship person. When he gets on that court, he's able to push his guys farther than they ever thought they could go. But the reason he's able to do that is because of the relationship he spent time building with them off the court. For those of you who've been around high-level athletics, that's the magic dust. That's the key that makes this thing work. Because when you have that trust with your student athletes, they know that they care about you. They know that you're invested in them. They'll let you push them. They'll let you take them places that they wouldn't be able to ordinarily go. And I know that Brad Underwood is unbelievable at that. And the last thing, and certainly not the least important, he cares a lot about the University of Illinois. He wants to be here. We want people who want to be part of the Fighting Illini family. As I said earlier, we understand and embrace the great tradition, the great opportunity that we have in Illinois basketball and Fighting Illini athletics. This place is special. We want people here who understand how special it is. And we found one of those people around the world. So, with that, I want to thank Brad, his wonderful wife Susan, son Tyler, and daughters Katie and Ashley, and thank them so much for trusting us, for their confidence in the bright future that we have here, for joining our community and our Fighting Illini family. And please join me in welcoming our new head basketball coach, Brad Underwood.
Thank you. I'm very humbled. I'm very honored to be standing here today. This is a very special moment in my life, one that I was not sure would ever come to fruition. Obviously, very huge thanks to Chancellor Jones, Josh, for believing in me, for seeking me out. I'm very appreciative of that. Behind every head coach that has family, there's always a tremendous amount of family support that has to take place. I hope I appreciate you coming along on that trip and giving opportunities. I know how important that my wife, 29 years, is. It's been an incredible journey, and she's been there every step of the way. As you get to know her, you'll find out she's important in this relationship. So, Susan, will you stand? My son will be making his transfer to the University of Illinois. Tyler was a redshirt freshman with us at Oklahoma State, maybe making the transfer as long time. My oldest daughter, 16-year-old, a junior in high school, Katie, please stand. And my youngest, who is a freshman in high school, Ash. Without them, none of this is possible, none of it, and to be honest, none of it. So they are a tremendous resource and someone I'm honestly very proud of. A dear friend, representative, agent, but more importantly, a big part of my life, a close friend, and helped throughout this process. Brad Just, please stand for that. I would be remiss if I did not thank a great group of people at Oklahoma State University. It's a wonderful institution. I leave there, my head held high. They're going to get a terrific basketball coach there. That program is going to continue to move forward, and I thoroughly enjoyed my year there, and wish them nothing but continued success, which that program will continue to have. As Josh mentioned, the process is one that it happened very quickly. It's been rolling, and I have a policy that I don't talk to anybody until my season's over. That's in fairness to our players, the institution that I'm at. And then I had a conversation with Brad after we beat by Michigan by 1. I'm not in a very good mood. And 1-point losses. I'm back-to-back years with 1-point losses. It's a tournament. Those are tough. But mentions the University of Illinois and a couple other schools have reached out and been in pursuit. For me, it was no decision. It was something that meant a great deal to me. I spent 10 years in this state, from 1993 to 2003. And at that time, I learned how important the Illini Nation was and how powerful. And basketball was special. And Coach Henson, who I did have a conversation with yesterday, he's been a guy who's reached out to me throughout the course of last season. And I look forward to him coming back in April so we can get together and sit down and visit. He's been a tremendous resource, and I truly appreciate that. But he had retired. I knew of his success. Then Vancouver, Bill Self. We came in here and took a few lookings in here when I was blessed with those guys coaching. But every young person in this state played basketball, grew up wanting to be a part of this. And it was I thought I was from a basketball state. I really did in Kansas. I grew up. Nothing like this. This is the best high school basketball in the country. It's got great coaches. It's got great talent. And the fans support and the community support was something that just made a huge impact. And to go to a high school game on Tuesday and Friday nights and town shut down, and everybody there. Time I came here to state tournaments and to see this arena packed made a huge impact. And then to actually come in here as a opponent and have to play made tremendous memories for me. And those were memories that never left. I felt this is an elite program. As Josh and I visited, that resonated with me. And I use the term a lot in the room. I dream big. It's a cliche, but obviously I didn't come up. But I do. I dream big. I dream bigger. And winning a national championship is something that can happen. And I want to be a part of it. And I want to help. I want to help lead this program to that. And when the director of athletics has that same vision, that was important. And you're an elite program in an elite conference like the Big Ten, and obviously they're having a tremendous NCAA tournament. All things are possible. And that's something that I was drawn to. The only thing that I'm going to say is it's not just about me. It's all about you. We have to do this together. And it's boosters, it's supporters of the program, it's the Orange Crush. Things happen together. And I think the one thing that excites me is this is a regional sports effort. It's impactful. I look forward to reaching out and getting to know all of the support. I look forward to getting out and hanging out with Orange Crush and getting to know them. That makes it special when it happens together. And I really look forward to that. I have a couple things philosophically. There's a commitment to winning. And I use this phrase a lot, losing is not an option. And I want our players to believe that. I look forward to building those relationships with players. I had one very short conversation with them. I had a very brief conversation with Jamal. In all fairness, this is about them. They're still playing. They're privileged to still have an opportunity to continue to go win games. And I don't want to be a distraction for them in this time. I told you all this, that there will be a time and place where we will all continue to visit. The players will hear that a lot. Losing is not an option. We're going to work to be everyday guys. That's not a basketball term. It's a life term. We all have to show up and work every day. We have to give our best. We ask that for players. Whether that's on the court, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's community relations. Big things that impact the program. I'm a culture guy. Our culture is based on work. Our culture is based on family. As my family, staff together, and that will impact our program. It will all be about family. That is something that I don't think there's enough value in. We actually, when we talk about it in terms of staying together. We work very hard to create an environment in our locker room where our players are committed to each other, dedicated to each other, and they're playing for the name on the front of the jersey, not necessarily. In regards to our players, I can't say enough how much I'm looking forward to sitting down with them. Young people come to college with big dreams and aspirations, and they come to reach their goals and to achieve their goals. I look forward to sitting down and finding out what each player's goals, what they want to do with their career, what they want to do with their lives. Then we have a base to sit down and we can help them achieve those goals. We do it through hard work, as I mentioned. We do it through dedication. I think that will happen. I think you'll see that on the court. One thing that our teams, I can't tell you, that's so hard. It's hard. One thing I can tell you is you will all be proud of what goes on. We're going to play hard. We're going to play the right way. We're going to play for each other. We're going to play, like I said, for the name on the front. And that takes not just one, that takes everything. And we're going to work to strive for that. I like to play up tempo. I like to be interfacing defensively. I like to take advantage of what on the offensive end, every option that's available. We weren't the biggest team in the country. It's team out of Austin. In fact, we were one of the smallest. We weren't the biggest team at Oklahoma State. Yet we've always been one of the top in the country. We were top 10 in the country in offensive rebound this year. We're the top free-throw team in the country. All ways to score other than just the offense. I like to play fast. We're one of the top teams in the country in scoring in the first 7 seconds. We're a very good shooting team. There's a certain skill set that we will recruit to. We are very committed to a style of play. One thing I know we will have an identity in the program. And that starts with a great foundation. We will go from there. We may have to tweak some things here and there based on personnel, but we're going to be a team that plays with a lot of passion and shows up for work every single day. I think there's tremendous value, and I'd be very remiss as story as this program is. If I didn't mention former players, coaches, every elite program, and this is an elite program, has a place to recognize the performers and to have them involved, and there's so many. I would start to even name them. There's so many. And the great coaches, and there's people behind the scenes and managers to make that all possible. I want our current players to know when their time is done, they have something to be extremely proud of. They have a place to go that they can always call home. When you have sweat equity in the program, as the former players do, you have great stories, you have great memories. I want the Orange Crush to have memories that take place in this building that they'll talk about for a lifetime. As many of you have great memories of some of the great players that have stepped on that court, I want those people to be a part of Illinois basketball for years to come. If you're a part of our program, they're always welcome. We'll work very, very hard to continue to bring as many of those athletes back, as many of those players, coaches, as we can. To them, they built this. They're the reason I'm standing. I'm an old school historian in that aspect. The tradition and culture of this program is why I stand here. Those guys impact me. They made this program special. And I'm excited to be your basketball coach. I look forward to seeing this arena act. I look forward to hearing the Orange Crush get loud. And again, I'm truly blessed. Thank you for all I have.
Brad, Jeremy WarnerScout.com. I guess I gotta be the first one to welcome. You talked about your identity, style of play, Josh, and that was really important for you. How did that evolve? How did you get to your style and identity?
I was such a bad defender as a player. And I figured I better emphasize the defensive end when I became a coach. I think I've been very blessed. I've been around a lot of very good coaches, playing for Jack Hartman, obviously a stable Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, Jim Thorne, when I spent 10 years with Western Illinois, all had distinct styles. They fit my personality. And even back when I was a junior college coach, I played an aggressive style of defense. I like the thought of not allowing teams to do what they practice every single day. If I can take them out of it, I think I can beat them. Analytics play a big part of what we do on the offensive end. The game has changed. None more evident than our Michigan. We got rebound Michigan by 20. We shoot 55%. In old-term basketball, that was a win. We only had, I think we had 9 turnovers. In today's game, that was a ball. Game's changed. So analytics and all that play into it. Scouting is so good. The other coaches are so good. We're taking a lot of what I've learned from different people. Long, short answer, and try to make it fit my person.
Hi, Colin Banks, the sportsbank.net. You alluded to the elite level of talent within the state. How much of recruiting the state, especially Chicago and the Chicagoland area, will be a priority?
Well, there's no question that this state produces a lot of elite talent, and the University of Illinois, and Chicago, downstate, wherever. we want the best players in this state to come to this university. So we're going to do everything we can to recruit players. Keeping players home is a vital part of any program's success. Here, we have a plethora of good players. Keeping them here is very.
Hi, Coach. Welcome. Mark Tupper from Decatur. My question's a little bit to do with Jeremy's question. You work for guys that are going to get to continue to see in the tournament here as we go on. It's like, when I think about West Virginia and South Carolina, I think about teams that other people don't want to play and they're uncomfortable playing those guys. Is that something that you try to bring to your teams as well?
I think Coach Hayes said the best about Frank's game last night at halftime. He said that's the best defensive team we've seen all year. And there's a sense of toughness that scares me, to be quite honest. I think it comes from a commitment by the head coach to work on that end and to emphasize that. I was extremely happy for Frank. It's a 6-year process in terms of the rebuild that he's gone through there and to 16. Us as a ball pickup. And his teams are physical and it's a big part of what we do in terms of getting our athletes in the weight room, helping them become the best athletes they can be. We'll lay a foundation. We'll do everything we can to become that as quickly.
Julio Salesforce in Chicago. During your time at Western Illinois, what did you learn about basketball in the state of Illinois in terms of the players, the passion from campuses and the audience? But secondarily, in terms of recruiting in the state, how important is to rebuild a relationship through the coaching ranks, going to tournaments, not just in Chicago, but across the state?
The coaching business is nothing more than relationships. I'm very fortunate in it 30 years now. So I've been able to develop a lot of relationships. Even when I was not in the state was always part of our recruiting process. And the passion you mentioned, that's important. The way I like to recruit, I'll be honest, we all make errors sometimes. If a 4-star, 5-star, I don't. Recruiting to me is like moving to the eye of the hole. And it's about putting pieces to a puzzle. And the identity that you create and the passion. The other thing is, we always recruit here because of how well the young men are coached. There's tremendous high school coaching. That doesn't happen. You take it for granted. Believe me, it doesn't happen. And so when you can get young people that are prepared and have been through the rigors of being coached and taught the fundamentals, that's pretty important.
Coach Stephen Combs at Illini. So the former coaching staff was able to put together one of the top recruiting classes in the country. What's your plan going forward to talk to them and try to get them to stay here to the university?
Well, that's an ongoing process, and we've reached out to each and every one of them, and we've made contact. It's a process that is them getting to know me, introducing myself, and as soon as possible, we will be getting in front of them and talking about what our vision is for the program, how we see them, and then we'll move from there. But absolutely, it's very talented. It's a group that we'd like to see out on the court.
You've mentioned that this is not a whirlwind for you. What happened between Saturday and your conversation with Josh? What kind of things did you guys talk about that kind of solidified the decision?
He's a tremendous sales in terms of how proud he is. His pride in this university is incredible, and that exudes, and that resonates. And I have tremendous value, tremendous eagerness. as soon as I found out and talked to Brad, there wasn't. But that we were winning. That's what about. Winning and losing affects my personal life. Affects hers too. But it's important. When you have your loss, believe that and the commitment that they made being successful. That's very, very important. And I didn't need any more than that. I knew the history, I knew the tradition, I knew the requirements. I knew how good this conference is. That's the reason. That's the reason.
Brad Sturdy with Robinson. We're about 4 weeks into the first open admission period. It's spring. How soon do you expect your staff?
That's a daily process we're going through. My biggest concern right now is there's no playing. I need to let them achieve. This is about student athletes and their opportunity. Then we can visit with them, continue to visit with them. Lost conversation. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the job that he's doing. A hard situation. That's not easy. And get a win. Continue moving forward. That's very impressive. But we'll continue to do that on a daily basis and sort through all of these. We won't have a good time.
Coach, congratulations. Jim Madsen from Channel 25 in Peoria. Why is your offense been so successful where you've been? Talk about the 7 seconds of velocity.
So we just start numerically and analytically, so we can just start the team struggle transition from one report to the other. And it's really not that complicated. Just you guys run the ball and play. And then we try to take advantage of the offensive class and the opportunities. And again, I'm of the philosophy closer to the basket, that's change. Well, we get offensive rebounds, you're not facing defense. And we stress that a great deal. We stress running the floor very hard, taking those opportunities. We practice that. But if it's not there, I'm a big believer in late shot and making the defense move. We've been one of the most efficient teams even when I was a CNF because of ball movement, because of our ability to take advantage of mismatches, and our ability to play quick.
Scott Ritchie with the Champaign News said, what maybe did you know about the players you're going to inherit before you got the job, and what have you been able to learn in this 48 hours?
Well, I think one of the hardest challenges, I saw them play one time. One of the hardest challenges you have as a head coach is it's very hard to, I watch very little other basketball, especially when you're in conference. We were so dialed in on every opponent in the Big 12, and games can go on quickly. I didn't watch them. Really didn't. You see some teams early, we were annihilated. Some of those teams didn't have a lot in terms of being able to watch. They obviously played Michigan in the first round. I watched that. And again, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Illinois in that game, because I was just looking at it. But I'm excited. I've looked at the numbers. I haven't watched any film yet. I will do that in 5 ways. But more importantly, I'm looking to sit down and visit. That way I can have some, I get a feel of their goals and we can go from there.
Brad Underwood, BCI, Champaign. You said this has been a dream for you, or at least that's what it sounded like. Did you envision yourself being here at some point in your career? Has this been something you've been looking forward to, or did you set out all along and say, hey, how can we be?
Well, my wife told my son, and that's true. His first jersey was a Bryant jersey. And so signing, but this was maybe very unique. Like I said earlier, I didn't know I would ever leave Stillwater. A wonderful place, but you hope in the back of your mind, but you never. It's just sometimes the unexpected is happens. And it's just really the case. And like I said, I'm truly blessed with this place.
Hey, Coach, Gordon White from WAD. There's at least one player here that's going to be on your team that I know of. What's his skill set and what's your relationship like professionally and once you guys go home?
That wasn't a question. If I don't get this right, I have to go with his mother. Tyler was a redshirt freshman for us. He right at the end of his high school career, towards ACL, and he's a combo guard, played both. He's very handy, he's very cerebral, he's a very, very good shooter. Best thing he does is pass. The most important thing for him is the weight room. He got his mother's body, thank goodness, and not mine. But he's actually a junior academically, and in a fabulous spot, a wonderful young man, future coach. So I'm truly blessed with this relationship. He gets it every day in practice, but every single day in practice, I get to see my son. And that doesn't happen very often. It's really special. And it sure has.
Rob McCauley from Illini Report. Jamal spoke yesterday about the first time he met you. Do you remember that day?
Yeah, he was really young. I'm impressed that he could remember that far back. Yeah, Jamal was from Kansas. He was a very, very good player. And at the time, I was junior college coach in Kansas. And we had rules and limitations in junior college in Kansas. We had so many in-state players. And he was one of the better ones. And so I was actively involved in watching his games. His team was very, very good at watching players. So he might have been 15, 16. He was pretty young. So. Yeah, and then, as we all do with the coaching fraternity, we bump into each other on the road. And always, I probably didn't do a very good job of proving it. He went on to a tremendous career and then started to his basketball.
Can I ask about the Dodge City stint that you had? Because you basically were 500 there versus SFA where you barely lost at all. So what did you learn about winning or developing teams between those two? Well, what were the circumstances behind all that?
Well, completely different jobs in terms of, I'll say this, I was 24 years old when I got the job. And you think you know something, then you realize you don't. And then I think you get better. We had very good players. I think the one thing I had to do there was prove that we could improve. And we did that. At that time, junior college basketball was very, very good. It was special. Every team had 3-4 high major players on it. I grew as a coach. I grew as a person that understood what was important. I identified more with character and the important things. Sometimes those weren't the qualities that you get at junior college level. And then, Steve Neff was a very, very good job. He had a tradition of success. That culture helped. And then he coached the player. Thomas walked out and coached Jay Parker, who became the MVPs. He recruited young men started freshman every year. But we developed a culture, and I think that's the biggest thing. You don't do it at the junior college level. You don't have enough time. It takes some of those guys a year. Whereas you establish a culture for your program.
Coach Derek Hyper, Scout.com. Could you talk about a little bit more about the type of player you're looking to recruit, how you go about identifying fits to your system?
not winning here or at this level, we're not good players. I think that's an obvious. But I think there's another component that is we were skilled players. We were tremendous. We've been tremendous shooting teams. I think you have to put the ball in the basket to win. And I think there's a certain level of athleticism, but I do think the character wins. And I do think basketball IQ wins. In this state, the coaches get a basketball IQ level that can be better than us. I think that guys that are motored up, that are competitive, that play for the right reasons, that becomes more challenging. Very honest. And that age system, we all go recruit. They get 3 games a day, and so the winning is something we look for, and we search that out. We do a lot of in-depth work, not just looking at talent. Evaluation process. My staff is extremely important. It's just not picking up a name off scout. We're going to see them